After making a trade with their second round pick early in the draft, trading back to number 55 from number 45, the Los Angeles Lakers end up flipping that pick to move up in the draft with more cash. We'll talk about all that and what the Bulls actually did with their second round selection. We'll talk about all that and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go and get into this content for today, y'all. The Chicago Bulls have made their selection in the second round at number 55, and they have drafted Lachlan Olbrich. This is a Australian player, 6'10", with a 6'11" wingspan. Some list him at 6'9". He's 230 pounds, legit. This pick actually has gotten rated by an A by a lot of draft analysts right after the draft as far as what the Chicago Bulls got in this guy in Albrick here. Now, he's going to be a guy that's already signed a two-way contract with the Chicago Bulls, so he's going to be mainly down in the G League. The Bulls do not take up a full-time roster spot to get him locked in here, and that's perfectly fine when it comes down to it. And the Bulls with this one, Mark Eversley talked about potentially getting a draft and stash player, something like that. They don't end up going that route, but they do get a player that, has some upside, that is probably going to spend a lot of time in the G League. You look at his stats last year, 8.7 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, 1.6 assists per game as well, right under a block, right under a steal per game in 29 games playing overseas. When you look at the strengths that he has, a polished guy. He has really good footwork when it comes down to it. He's really balanced in the paint as well. He has really good hands as far as catching passes and getting out in transition as well. Really good in the pick and roll also, and he knows how to leverage his body and setting screens there as well. And he's a solid enough ball handler as well, surprisingly enough. Really good passer for a big. Does not turn the ball over a lot. Only played 16 minutes. So again, those numbers I gave, while not jumping out the stat sheet at all at you, it's a player with a really good feel for a game. He's a productive finisher. 69% he shot at the rim in the half court situations. He has Euro steps. He pivots. Like I said, he draws contact pretty well. Very physical rebounder when it comes down to it as well. He is somebody, because of his passing ability, can get a rebound on the defensive end and push the transition a little bit to get it to the guard. So all those things kind of translate over to what the Bulls and how the Bulls like to play. And I do see that them trying to run something similarly down in the G League. This is going to be a guy who's probably going to be down there with Noah Asingay as well, depending on how much Asingay spends time down there. But with Adama Sanogo no longer, as of right now, on a contract with the Chicago Bulls, this guy's kind of going to fill in that. Now, when you look at some of the weaknesses that he has, very undersized, and probably he's not going to be able to play. Well, he'll probably be able to play the 5, but he's going to be an undersized 5. Very under the rim center as well. Does not have the type of athleticism that you're looking at in the NBA. He doesn't have NBA level athleticism, so he's going to have to get it done physically through how he likes to play. And we've seen players have that bruising style. Again, nobody's saying that Albrick is going to turn into some starter at the NBA level, because I don't think anybody has that. But if he does end up ever getting any type of role in the NBA, it's going to be coming off the bench and as a role player. And we've seen some players be able to overall use that physical style to kind of leverage that to get them some opportunity in the NBA level. I don't know if that's going to be here right away here for the Chicago Bulls. We know that the Bulls have not been afraid of taking players and then sticking them in the G League 1, 2, 3 years sometimes and seeing what comes from it. And that's really what this pick is overall. I would say this. Again, free throw percentage, only 50% there. But he's still a guy that does get to the free throw line pretty decently as well. Defensively, he's one of those guys that he feels like he knows how to be in the right spot. He's sometimes slow of foot, sometimes it has him, holds him back. No clear NBA role either when you look at weaknesses, but he's still a developing player as well when it comes down to that, and that's really what you're looking at for him. So the Bulls go upside here with Lachlan Olbrich to really see what he's going to be able to turn into 21-year-old player when it comes down to that. So, we'll see what ends up happening here. But, it's not just about who the Bulls took. Lachlan Olbrich is perfectly fine for where the Bulls pick. You get a 6'10", power forward, 21 years old, doesn't turn 22 until December, has a guy that's really physical when it comes down to it, all those type of things. He measured almost 69 with 6'9" without shoes. So a legit 6'10" when he has shoes on. But overall, I think the finishing around the rim is really good and those type of things. And he's going to be a tough player down in the G League. But then when you look at what really happened, when you put in the full story of what happened here in the second round, for those that don't know, we did drop a video earlier today when the Chicago Bulls actually traded. They had the 45th overall pick. They traded down to 55 for cash considerations and that 55 pick with the Los Angeles Lakers. And that's where we start getting interesting with this. The Lakers then used that and leveraged that to then make a trade, to then trade with Minnesota, to then move higher up into this draft. And it's just, they get a Duyon, which is a really good player, but it makes you think that had the Bulls been a little bit more aggressive, that they could have actually put up cash in their 45th pick to move up. The Lakers moved from 45 after acquiring it to the Bulls all the way up to 36 to put more cash and the 45th pick to get a Duyon. A Duyon is a guy that I really liked in the second round of this draft at 6'6", 218-pound forward. But think about this. Johnny Brome went right one spot above. Ryan Kalkbrenner went one spot above that, right? So you could have still had a laundry list of those players. Maxime Reynaud went at 42, but then it's even more salt in the wound because the Lakers end up trading the pick, the 45 pick that we traded to them, to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they draft Rocco Zakari, a player that a lot of Bulls fans mentioned the Bulls taking with the Bulls' own 45th pick. Keep in mind, this is a young 18-year-old, 7'3", 257-pound center that's only 18 years old that they're going to draft and stash. So once again, the Bulls' lack of vision held them back from what they wanted to do. They said they were looking at draft and stash players. You could have got Rocco Zakari. Now, I don't exactly know what Rocco's going to turn into at the NBA level, but again, a 9'6" standing reach and a player that's already shown growth as a shot blocker, as a rim protector, as a rebounder, and even as a passer. And sometimes that's the kind of player that you draft and stash, and then you see what happens with it a little bit later. So again, the Bulls missed out on doing even what they wanted to. They didn't even have to trade back to get it done. So that's, again, how things start shaking out for the Bulls and how things really just sometimes just get really frustrating with this team and their lack of vision and the lack of the way they execute that vision as well. Now, the Bulls have, on the last few drafts, have signed undrafted free agents. So far, a lot have been announced. Nothing for the Chicago Bulls as of yet. I would not be surprised if the Bulls do walk away with some player here, but a lot of the players, Vlad Golden, another 7-footer, he signs a 2-way contract with the Miami Heat. So he's not going to be there. There's another player, Hunter Salas, a really good scorer out of Marquette. He signs a 2-way contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. Eric Dixon, another center prospect, signs a 2-way contract with the Los Angeles Lakers. The Bulls just, this draft period, and again, I want to keep in mind, Noah Esingay, I like the pick there. I really do like the pick. The more and more I watch it, I like the pick more and more. But just the way that this team has functioned and the way that they've gone about their business has just been very, very bad. And so we'll see what happens. If the Bulls do sign an undrafted free agent, I will drop another video. But as of right now, that's what we got. You guys can follow us at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.